This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com with none other than the former SWE Fury ring announcer and the current general manager of Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, Rodney Mack and Jazz's affiliated company out of San Antonio. And they got a big event this weekend. And you're also affiliated with some other leagues that we'll get into later. But Aaron Presley, how you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm doing good. And I love seeing you in the cowboy hat. It brings back so many fond memories of having you here in Texas, and you're looking sharp, my man.
Thank you very much. Well, you're also my cowboy mentor. I
That's
forgot
right.
to mention that.
That's right. Yeah, we had some good times here in cowboy country. That's for sure.
Now, let's start by telling us a bit about Dog Pound. It started, I believe the first event was September or October. How did it start? It's a lot of the same people that were in SWE, which the fans of this channel are very familiar with, but maybe start by telling us the history of it.
Yeah, after the end of SWE, everybody kind of took a lateral step, so to speak, and just kind of gathered up and got a game plan ready to go. And uh, just like yourself, Rodney and Jazz, good friends of ours, and they had the idea that they wanted to expand their dojo into a full fledged company, and we all got on board together. And just a few months ago was our first event, and so far so good. Everything's really going well, and here coming up at the end of the month, we have another pretty big event there at the Woodlawn Gym, the historic Woodlawn Gym that we're calling the Pit now for Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. Should be good.
So this is basically going to be a feeder system for the Dog Pound Dojo that Jazz and Rodney Mack run, as well as you got Charlie Haas involved. I think Christy Janes, who was a former SW champion, is involved. Tons of people. So maybe tell us a little bit about the talent. I did post a match that Charlie had sent me from the last event where Charlie's kids actually went at it.
Oh my goodness, yeah, Chuck and Russ, Chuck 9 and Russ 11. They've been opening the show for us as well as in Texoma, and they're just these kids. That's the future, and just seeing them do their thing is pretty incredible. And yes, Christy Janes, a lot of familiar faces from the SWE days join us there as well. And there's just so much incredible talent, and especially for the ladies, Jazz handling all the ladies. As a female wrestler, who wouldn't want to be associated with Jazz, and the same with Rodney Mack as well. And that in the Dog Pound Dojo, they're rolling deep there. So a lot of great talent coming out of there, and we got an action-packed event. So put it that way.
I noticed you have Jasmine Allure coming, and she's one of my favorites. I think she's going to be a big star in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right now, especially for the ladies, it's the sky's the limit. And like I said before, anytime that these ladies can learn from what Jazz has to teach them, it's a good day, and it's been a beneficial situation for them. So we invite them all and come and learn, just as we all do.
Did you see that thing on Raw with Seth Rollins interfering?
You talk about the attack?
Yeah. The fan that took him down there.
Yeah, he shot the double leg on him. And at first I was like, man, how'd he get to him? Then I saw a different angle, and the dude, it was very reminiscent of someone like getting on the football field and finding their way to whoever had the ball. It's one of them deals, yeah, but he shot a double leg on him and took him down. Rollins just kind of held on. Didn't really know I'm sure it caught him by surprise. And but luckily the referees were there to kind of save the day for him. So
Someone commented that we need to find that guy's contact info and get him a match against the Blood Hunter. If he wants to wrestle so badly, let's put him
oh,
in there against the Blood Hunter and see how that goes.
well, I'm pretty confident that it wouldn't go well for him, Devin. As we all know, the Blood Hunter is a violent competitor inside the ring and out. So I doubt it would go as easily as it went for him with Seth Rollins. We'll put it that way.
Now, what's your history with Texas wrestling? You've been around the business a long time. You've been promoting for years. You're also involved in rodeo. Give us a little bit of a rundown of your involvement in the business.
I originally first got around the business in, I believe it was 2004. I went to Waxahachie and started my training with Killer Tim Brooks. Was there a few months. And then I ended up in Alabama, and Selma, Alabama, actually the civil rights capital of the world, coaching college football at a historically black college. So I kind of got away from wrestling there for a little bit, always kind of kept in contact with it, but wasn't as full-fledged just due to my job at the time. But when I came home, I believe it was around 2012, I got with at that time, which was the New School Federation run by Ryan Genesis and Brent McKenzie, and which turned into NWA 360. So around that time, took over the reins of that with Brent and just started getting my feet wet as a promoter. We had a lot of success there. As time went on, I kind of moved away from 360 and found my plate pretty full with main event pro wrestling. So at that time, for the next 4 to 5, 6 years, drawing some of the largest houses in Texas, so 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 houses, and not using any names, just local guys from Texas, really, and surrounding areas. But had a lot of success there and learned a lot, and was able to put on some large events for the Arklatex area. And from that, moving on to Lions Pride Sports and onto SWE. And here we are today, or post SWE time. Here we are today at Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. But yeah, the years have kind of just gone by, and here I sit. Made some great contacts along the way, and some great friends, and I just hope to keep that going with the success in the industry.
What do you think the downfall was of SWE? It had so much momentum, and I don't know if it was just too many cooks in the kitchen, or certain people had power that maybe shouldn't have at various times. But it seems it went from having all the momentum in the world to gone in a matter of a very short period of time.
It did. Really felt like we had the tiger by the tail there, so to speak. And like you said, Devin really had the momentum going, and you could feel it. Hindsight's always 20/20, and in a situation like that, we grew really fast, and decisions get made, and people come around, and but I would say probably they're the last run of shows, those last 3 or 4 or 5, it just, the magic kind of seemed to dissipate a little bit. And of course, when we lost you, that was a big blow to us. And, so looking back, I would say probably the first big change would be when you exited the company then.
Well, on a good note, the shows that happened after my exit of the company, matches from those events, I came to an agreement with some of the old people involved with it, and they're going to be posted on my channel, so they'll be out there with you ring announcing.
Oh, nice,
So
nice.
the fans can look forward to seeing some of those, especially Ivali. She was one of my favorites, so I'm looking forward to getting those ones up.
Right, right. And I saw some of those the other day, and I'm so happy y'all were able to reach the agreement that you did, and let those matches be seen, and let that talent be seen, and we just all move forward.
Now, what do you think about a company like World Class Pro Wrestling? They're planning to run the Dallas area twice a month, starting in January. They have history of promoting and so forth, but what do you think a company like that is going to have to do to actually draw twice a month back to back in the same market? Because as a promoter myself, and I do wish them the best, I'm involved with that company, but that kind of makes me a little nervous. So as an experienced Texas promoter, what would your advice be to a company like that that's biting off such a task of drawing every month like that?
I believe one of the best things that World Class has going for him, as well as Jerry Bostic there, who I have tons of respect for. Just recently getting to know Jerry. You have an incredible team there, and when you put an incredible team on the field and everybody in the right positions, and you listen to those people you have in those positions who are there for a reason. Um, and with everybody moving towards a like-minded goal, great things can happen. So he's set up for success, no shadow of a doubt, right there. The main thing is just keeping the train on the tracks and keeping the that goal in sight and trying to ride that straight line. We can go to the left of the line a little bit, to the right of the line or so a little bit, but at the end of the day, we all have to keep our eyes on the prize, so to speak, and keep moving towards a collective goal. That's an area in that DFW area that's hungry for wrestling. And as we saw in the past, and they want it, they need it, they're going to buy a ticket and they're going to come out and support it. So I believe, going to be riding a high, so to speak, in the area, because there's a fan base there that's missing what they had before. And I believe the place that you're going to find that is right there with World Class Pro Wrestling, World Class Revolution, Jerry Bostic, as well as yourself and so many others. But I know I really look forward to that December 11th Christmas Star Wars event, and to buy a ticket and just to come be a part of that and feel that energy and see World Class do what they do.
Yeah, nothing like that Texas energy, right?
I'm telling you, it gets wild, it gets crazy. The fans like to get up and close to the action, and sometimes a little too close. So, but as well as we've seen in the past. But Texas loves their wrestling. They have for a long, long time, and I believe right now is one of the best times to be a wrestling fan, as well as have a real professional wrestling company that's making real moves. So, the same as you. I wish them all the best, and I think if they just keep their eyes on the prize, build their foundation. You gotta have a solid foundation to build a house on. So, I think if they keep doing that, they're going to do incredible things. So, really looking forward to seeing that.
And of course, speaking of the Dallas area, one of the last events you were involved with in that area, Charlie Haas was involved in a little skirmish with the fans. What's going through your mind when you're watching that from the ring?
Oh, so many things going through my mind. What's this going to cost? I hope this this isn't going to get any worse. But Charlie, when Charlie is on, he is on, and as when he's there as a heel, I mean, you're getting that dial turned all the way up. There's no imitation. There's no fluff or anything to what he presents in that zone, and it pushes people's buttons. It really, really does. But hey, that's the name of the game. Wrestling's not supposed to always be comfortable and sterile and clean cut. Sometimes it's supposed to be a little ugly and get you pissed off. And Charlie is an ultimate professional when it comes to that, and he doesn't settle for anything less. So it was no surprise that he found himself in that situation. But needless to say, he's highly capable of defending himself, as well as how Rodney stepped in so quick and extinguished that situation. So very capable individuals in those moments.
Yeah, it's one thing to go after Charlie with his amateur credentials, but with Rodney just a couple feet behind him, and he's had a couple MMA matches, and I think he beat up Shane Helms in the back once, according to Renee
Right.
Dupree. Like, that's not a guy that you want to attack a wrestler around.
Right. That's very, very true. That man is the real deal for sure, and he has no problem reminding anybody of that in those moments. So.
No, definitely not. He probably enjoyed his little interference there. So you actually do Charlie Haas's podcast with him too, right? How did you actually convince him to get on social media after all this time? He had disappeared from social media for years.
Charlie and I became really good friends, and we just see a lot of things the same way. And one of the things, just like a lot of us, we grew up watching what he brought to the table, and really enjoyed that time period in World Wrestling Entertainment, before that, and afterwards at Ring of Honor and everything Shelton and himself had done. And there's so many unique stories. He and his brother Russ, breaking in the Briscoe brothers, like literally having their first match is just so much to talk about, as well as their time in WWE, he and Shelton. And it was a point of view that hadn't been examined yet, and that's really exciting. And in wrestling, anytime you can hear something you haven't heard before, that's always kind of what most of us are looking for. And those are just a lot of unique stories that we intend to get into with some pretty incredible guests moving forward. Right now, we're just trying to get the groundwork laid and our first few episodes out, and just move forward. But we're really looking forward to getting some of these stories told. And I think it's great for Charlie as well. I see him really opening up and getting into some things. And I believe it's therapeutic. He really gets emotional talking about his brother Russ and as well as the boys, Russ and Chuck. And, just sometimes being able to talk about a lot of these type of things out in the open can really be healthy, for your healing.
Do you think a company like AEW will eventually give Charlie Haas another shot, since he's really built his body up over the past year? He had good steam when he was the champion of SWE. Hopefully with World Class, that will come back. But he still is in top shape. He probably has another good run with him with a major company, but for some reason, there seems to be some hesitation.
I believe anything's possible for Charlie Haas. I believe absolutely anything is possible for Charlie Haas. Inside those ropes, he has the ability to be one of the most incredible forces there are. He's one of the most incredible amateur wrestlers as well as professional wrestlers, and he'll be the first to tell you that of course he made his name off being part of a tag team for so long, and just kind of really was catching his his footing as a singles competitor and really getting to where he feels comfortable. Kind of felt like the rug got pulled out there, as once we started going. And I really look forward to his opportunities there in World Class, and I believe he will make the most of them. And that's what he does. He's a competitor. He's an athlete, and he responds well to being in different types of positions. And he likes to say, as well as we all like to say in our podcast, you really don't start wrestling until you're in an uncomfortable position. So.
Yeah, that is true. You can't learn how to wrestle if you're always facing people that you can beat. You
Right.
got to get in those uncomfortable positions. It'll be interesting to see if world class will, for instance, like recognize the SWE Fury title that he has. We know that they're recognizing the Blood Hunters Texas title in world class, which I believe is from NWA 360. If I'm not correct, didn't it start with NWA
It
360?
it actually those plates for that particular championship were actually created and designed by Chris Ronquilla, who might be better known as Tony Brooklyn, who was vice president of the National Wrestling Alliance with Bruce Tharp. And those were originally designed to be his championships there in Houston for Lone Star. Well, the plates kind of sat, I believe, on the shelf for a long time, and we at Main Event there towards the end of our run there acquired those plates and had them put on leather. And to be perfectly honest, I end up with so many championships and whatnot. That one just kind of sat there. And when the time came to kind of breathe life back in to the real Texas Championship, we had that one there to step up to the plate, and I believe it really did a great job doing that. So many people endorsing it, from Kevin Sullivan to Sonny Ono that night, and then the Blood Hunter winning that championship, and from that point taking it all the way into Canada, and just doing so many great things to it, and shining a positive light on that championship. It was, I'm proud to see where it's at and what it's been doing. So you always have that connection to things like that. But you just want to see it go places and do things. So I wouldn't say 360 now. There is a 360 championship laying around that we will encounter in the months coming. But that one right there, I think. I would have to give all that credit to making that to Chris Ronquilla. He was an incredible man.
What
Is an
will
incredible
be
man.
it'll be interesting. I don't know if the Blood Hunter can hold on to the title until February 19th, but it could be the very first Texas title defense in the United Kingdom
Oh wow,
if he
right.
could hold on to it then. I think it was the first Texas title defense in Canada.
That's a
Uh,
big deal. That's huge. How many times do we get to say things like that, Devin? First. In today's age. So that's a neat thing, and no doubt they'll have their hands full with the Blood Hunter without a doubt.
Now, growing up in Texas as a wrestling fan, I'm sure you've been to your fair share of events. Any memories stick out to you from those old days?
Man, when I was little, my dad, like I remember seeing a little bit of wrestling on TV with my cousin, and then my dad got WrestleMania 6, and at my grandma's house when we watched it, and I was just the biggest Hulkamaniac. And it was the first time wrestling ever broke my heart when Warrior won as a kid. But I guess it broke me up so much that Dad took me to there pretty soon after to Saturday night's Main Event in Austin, where I watched Hulk Hogan wrestle Mr. Perfect. Ultimate Warrior was there, the Rockers, the Hart Foundation, just the who's who looking back. And that was really my first interaction with a live event. And at that point, I was hooked before, but at that point, I was hook, line, and sinker. It was on.
Now, was like the Von Eriks still popular at that time, or they pretty much faded out by then?
Before I had ever seen anything, I knew I had heard of the Von Eriks. They were just when you grow up in Texas, that's just a name. It's like there's Dr. Pepper, and then there's the Von Eriks, and that's just one of those things growing up in this state that is just kind of ingrained in you and was through my generation. I learned more and more as I went along, but I don't recall seeing matches or anything like that, but I definitely knew who they were.
Who's your favorite of the Von Eriks?
Growing up, like I was a huge Kerry Von Erich fan, because I saw him in WWF as the Texas Tornado, and I loved Kerry Von Erich. As I got older, I really earned so much respect for David. Seeing, David was so just ahead of his time, and just have really grown to respect what he brought to the table now as an adult looking back.
Now, I ended up becoming friends again with Lacey. I know you've had your
Mhm.
ups and downs with her. Not ups and downs. You've always been friends with her.
Right.
But how is your interactions with Lacey and thoughts on her?
My interactions with Lacey were great. She just wanted to do the best job possible, and we wanted to make that happen for her. She really cared about the product. Things just didn't go the way we all envisioned, and but I know have no complaints about Lacey. She was always showed up early, if not on time, if not earlier than most, to work, and really was passionate about the product, and was really passionate about the kids camp. And my hat's off to her. I thought she gave it all she had, and did a great job with what she was doing.
Yeah, she's definitely very good with kids, 100%. I would have liked to have seen her back in the ring doing something, maybe down the road.
Right, right.
What's your favorite match from the Texas wrestling scene over the years?
You know, I was I really enjoyed what Moonshine and Max Castellanos had going on. That was captivated my attention. Couldn't wait to see what was going to happen next. I really enjoyed that, and to be perfectly honest, the Blood Hunter dominating in his time in Texas was pretty impressive as well. That was the talk of what was going on, and I would say those two things, as well as Charlie's reign as the SW Real World Champion. Those things stand out in my mind, but really enjoyed Max and Moonshine. That was a fun time.
Well, I know Moonshine is still going to be in world class pro wrestling as time goes on. I know AEW has been giving him tryouts regularly, so I wish him luck there. Max, I heard, is he injured or something?
Max got COVID a while back, and I
Okay.
think it really was kind of eye opening, and kind of had him wanting to spend some more time with his family, and we all honor that. So we support him and taking his time to just be with his family. I can totally understand. We lost four of our family members, my personal family, our close family members, in 1 month from it. So it really makes you want to be home and be present, and just kind of get yourself straight mentally. And if that's what he wants to do, we support him all the way. He's one of the most incredible competitors I've ever. And um, so we just wish him the best, and hope to see him again soon.
Now, here's the poster for November 27th, just a couple days away. Want to tell us a little bit more about this card?
Hunt After the Harvest coming up this Saturday, live in San Antonio at the Pit at Dog Pound Championship Wrestling at the historic Woodlawn Gym. You're going to see the who's who in professional wrestling. I have a major announcement I'm going to open the show with. I've asked all talent to be in the building, and from what I understand, we will have a full house already. And I'm not going to waste any time. Uh, that night, I'm going to, from the jump, let them know what's going on, and we're going to ride the waves of that announcement immediately following. So,
Does that announcement have anything to do with TV?
we started filming the last one. We have some stuff going forward, and I'll have some more announcements about that in the time moving forward. But we go back to laying that groundwork, and I want the foundation for Dog Pound Championship Wrestling to be sturdy, and so we can build a proper house on it. So this will be a decision and the groundwork of everything from the time to come. TV will come, but that won't be this particular announcement.
Very good. And I do understand from talking to Rodney a while ago, we might even see the Blood Hunter in San Antonio in January. I guess we'll know more probably in December. But that's something that the fans of this channel that live in San Antonio might be interested in. Where can people follow Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, and where can they follow you if they want to stay up to date with everything?
They can follow on Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter, Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. Check us out on there. We keep everything up to date. For myself, you can find me on Twitter. I'm trying to get better at Aaron Lee Presley, or I believe it's Aaron Lee Presley 360 on Twitter, as well as Facebook and Instagram as well. So I'm not the best at social media, but I really try to give it some effort. But check us out there. But the best way to check us out right now is live in San Antonio this coming Saturday, November 27th, at the Pit, the historic Woodlawn Gym in San Antonio.
I forgot to ask you, how did Dan Rodheimer do in the elections there? Did he win?
I don't even remember. I just remember that commercial that we all got such a kick out of him pretending to ride a bull, and I think you even pressed him on it, and he found a very political way to answer that question without saying he didn't ride him. But I don't know how he turned out. I'll have to look into that for sure.
Yeah, I haven't really heard anything new from him, so I'm going to guess it didn't turn out too well.
It turned out that well, yeah. Maybe next time he needs to really ride the bull and really earn the respect of the Texans down here. So
yeah, I think you were telling me, like, in Texas you can't fake ride a bull and expect people to vote for you. They know.
Yeah, they know, and it's kind of like a club you get into down here, a fraternity. When you crawl on the back of one of those animals, there's a respect you earn down here in the Lone Star State. And anytime you try to pull a fast one on the fine folks of Texas about riding a bull, it's probably not going to work out for you.
Very good. Well, nice catching up with you. I'll probably see you December 11th. Good luck with this event coming up at the Woodlawn Gym, Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, and I'll let you close this off however you want.
Hey, guys, but thank you, Devin. I appreciate you having us on, and just want everybody to come see us live at Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. Check us out on Wrestling's Greatest Podcast at the Haas Pod, myself, Charlie Haas, and Brent McKenzie. Other than that, we'll see you next time and see you down the road. Have a good one.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and